Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
That there is an alternative to the one-party dictatorship of the two Siamese twins that we are dealing with here. Now, I want to get your view on what's going to happen in the short term and long term, and then go through some other things that are happening, and tell folks how to get involved with the campaign. And also, we have a lot of listeners on AM and FM and shortwave and satellite who don't have internet. We need to give out, if you have one, or get your staff in the break coming up in 5 minutes to give us a toll-free number for folks that want to call and support the campaign that way, because about a third of our audience doesn't have internet, so they can also get involved in the campaign so we don't leave them out.
Right, that's very, very considerate of people who don't have internet. Yeah, the phone number is 202-471-5833, and I'll repeat it, 202-471-5833 for contributions. You can give up to $2,300, and every $2,300 will put a full-time person in one of the states to get out the vote for Nader Gonzalez. So if you want a full-time person in your state to get out the vote, and we know how to show them to get out the vote, just send $2,300. Obviously, if you can't afford that, you send 10, 20, 50, 100, 300, whatever you can afford. The website to get informed about why we stand with you, for you, by you, is votenader.org. And in the 10 days from September 17th, Constitution Day, Alex, we're having Constitution Day. And people want to know about our Constitution pledge and take the pledge, because as we speak, Bush and Secretary Treasury Paulson is tearing the Constitution out by its roots by demanding that Congress give the White House $700 billion bailout blank check.
Okay, that was my next question, was the police state and the engineered collapse of the Bill of Rights. But before we get into that,
the pledge, the ConstitutionPledge.com. That you want to take the Constitution Pledge, ConstitutionPledge.com. It's amazing. This bill, I have it on my desk. It's 4 pages. In 4 pages, Bush is demanding that Congress give him a blank check for a $700 billion bailout, immunity for the government officials like Secretary Treasury from any lawsuits for whatever he does, no judicial review to our courts. He knocks out the courts, and he tells Congress, give me all your constitutional authority. I, King George, will bail out the Wall Street crooks.
Folks, we're talking to Ralph Nader live. Mr. Nader, hold on one second, because this is so huge what you're saying. I don't want to just move past this. I want to focus people in. The White House was in the LA Times, quotes of Bush saying, yeah, we're not following the checks and balances. And Bloomberg Financial had the headline, Bush given dictatorial power. I want to explain to people, we have the former head of Goldman Sachs who's bailing himself out, literally the fox guarding the hen house. We've never seen anything like this, a conflict of interest like this. We've never seen looting. This makes Enron, all of that, look like a joke. Can you bring this into perspective, what we're witnessing?
What we're witnessing, Alex, is basically the criminal collapse of the trustees of the people's money, which we call Wall Street, the banks, investment banks, brokerage firms, you name it. People are going to feel this for months and months. They're not going to be able to pay their mortgage monthly. They're not going to be able to buy the necessities of life. Interest rates, of course, are very low on their little savings banks. Some of them get less than 1%. And these trustees turned criminals, recklessly speculating in ways that would stagger the imagination in terms of how thin the financial paper is as it's passed from one firm to another and then sent overseas. There are towns in Norway, northern Norway, that are near bankruptcy because they bought these collateralized home mortgages trusting Wall Street without adequate disclosure. You know, one prosecutor said, all these complex financial deals, here's what they come down to: lying, cheating, and stealing.
That's it.
And so these corporate crooks go to Wall Street. I summed it up this way this morning. Socialist Superman is sweeping down on New York City from Washington, D.C. to bail out the casino gambling corporate crooks on Wall Street, which is spewing forth more and more kryptonite. How much can the taxpayer pay before the rubber band snaps?
Well, that's the point I wanted to make, is that they're taking the bailout money that's been coming in, the hundreds of billions a week, and then they said, oh, Wall Street's banned shorting, but only against 740-something of their institutions, then declaring open season on the real economy, the manufacturing economy, Ford, GM, General Electric, and now they're out raiding everything else. I mean, this is what appears to be they're pulling out all the stops. They know it's all going down, Ralph Nader, and they are just in a orgy of theft.
Right. And listen to this. The taxpayer is never asked, never consulted. There's no national direct referendum, the way Mike Gravel was proposing, which is rooted in our Constitution and Declaration of Independence in terms of authority. So the taxpayer is in the dark. The taxpayer is never consulted. The taxpayer is never represented by members of Congress who are now being asked to give a $700 billion blank check to George W. Bush, King George. And the taxpayer will pay and pay until the taxpayer has a say.
But
and that's why we're running. We're running a number 3 presidential race, Nader Gonzalez, to give the taxpayer, the worker, and the consumer, through their votes, power to control their government and take it away from these giant corporations who have now become our government.
Ralph Nader, the Rasmussen poll says 28% support federal bailout. There's a Zogby only showing 31%. So the point here is the people don't support it. It's criminal. It's international. And then they say people that don't want the bailout, they're calling us socialist, when this is the big banks basically stealing our birthright and indebting all of us, and then they run around calling themselves conservatives. How big a joke is that?
It's a huge joke. Reminds me of my daddy. When I was 10 years old, he asked me at dinner table, why will capitalism always survive? And well, I tried some answers, but his answer was, because capitalism will always require socialism to bail it out, to save it. And that's Wall Street requiring Washington to save it. And the tragedy is that the taxpayer gets no equity here. If the taxpayer is going to pay the bill to bail out these corporations, well, why didn't he get 15, 20, 30, 40% shares? If these corporations come around in a better day and make money, the taxpayer not only gets made whole, but actually makes a profit. That's what happened on the Chrysler bailout in 1979, $400 million profit.
Mr. Nader, we got to break. Final segment with you after a quick 3-minute break here. Why aren't we bailing out the homeowners? I mean, it's our money, but see, no, we bail out the global crime syndicate. Ralph Nader's our guest.
I'm ready.
All right, he's going to stay with us for the extra 5 minutes. We have time to cover several other big subjects. Ralph Nader, I want to ask you where you see the economy going and the real economy on the ground, how you see this unfolding. I mean, they're talking about, even mainline analysts, Great Depression, and then how we could hopefully avert that. We haven't averted the financial collapse, but we're maybe can avert it deepening. But before we do that, give us that number again for folks that want to volunteer or donate who don't have computers, and then give us that the website to restore the Constitution, and then, of course, the main campaign site.
Right. The main campaign site is votenader.org, or O-R-G, votenader.org. The Constitution Pledge is constitutionpledge.com, constitutionpledge, one word, .com. And the phone number, for all you folks who still use the old-fashioned way of communicating, is 202-471-5833, 202-471-5833. I'll repeat it before the end of the show. And thank you very much. The most you can give is $2,300. That would put one full-time person in your state to get out to vote for us, Nader Gonzalez. You'll be able to meet that person if you make that kind of contribution.
Well, regardless, it builds a resistance to this, and all over the country, you're speaking to crowds of 5,000, 10,000, sometimes more, and you're getting in the local media, you're getting in the, it's really having an effect, and you're exposing the fraudulent system of how this private corporation keeps any third party or any other voice out of the debates, even preliminary debates, so we never get to vote for anybody but these selected, basic two-party dictatorship candidates. So
exactly. And not only that, Alex, but I'm going to be on Bill Maher's show to comment on the debate this Friday. You have to go on a comedic show to comment on debates that a majority of the American people in poll after poll want me, Ralph Nader, to be on the stage with McCain and Obama.
Absolutely.
That's how absurd the situation is. And I didn't want to leave the impression that we would not welcome smaller contributions, folks. $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, whatever you can afford, to 202-471-5833, or you can online contribution to votenader.org. And we use your money very frugally. We take no commercial money, no PAC money. We run a presidential campaign that the reformers would be very proud of.
Absolutely. And I tell you, I got a chance to meet Josh Brolin backstage that you had at one of your rallies, and also Sean Penn and others. He's got the big W movie coming out, so a lot of heavy hitters as well.